A moment that will define all of American history, the bloodied face of Donald Trump as he is covered by Secret Service agents, a part of his ear blown off, Trump staring at the ground, not knowing if he would survive, rising back up to raise his fist once more in defiance and scream, "Fight, fight, fight." This is Donald Trump, ladies and gentlemen. This is the moment where we saw the beast inside of Trump, where we saw the lion. It's also where we saw the total and complete shame of the Secret Service. How is somebody that is 2 feet shorter than Donald Trump supposed to protect Donald Trump? This is a moment where we saw the hand of God on President Trump, because it was the hand of God alone, as Donald Trump says here, that prevented the unthinkable from happening, his head being blown off, the bullet going through his neck or chest or skull. How close were we, ladies and gentlemen? We were milliseconds, millimeters away. Donald Trump saying in an interview this morning, "I'm not supposed to be here. I'm supposed to be dead." President Trump surviving the surreal assassination and saying that he's supposed to be dead in his first interview. "I'm not supposed to be here. I'm supposed to be dead. I'm supposed to be dead," says President Trump. So as we look at the shocking evidence that we can see from the actual crime scene, we begin to actually ask some major questions, which is, what the hell were these snipers doing up there on the rooftop? So you have these two guys who've been professionally trained with firearms that are on a rooftop supposed to protect the president, and they allowed some left-wing Joe Biden donor to crawl across a roof, put a bead on the president, and then they didn't take the shot? What the hell is going on here? Well, here's some reporting from the last 2 hours from NBC News, of all places, saying that these snipers had the ability and the authority to take out the threat without somebody coming into their earpiece and saying, "No, you do not have authorization." Now, we've speculated that there was a stand down order given because we can't conceive of a situation. We know snipers in the military. We know people who've trained with the Secret Service as snipers. In no conceivable world could we imagine that these snipers just allowed this to happen. In fact, we texted a sniper with 20 years of military experience, trained Secret Service, currently active duty. Listen to what he had to say. "I have no clue what they were doing. I'm still trying to wrap my head around a building being 150 yards away that was outside of the security perimeter, had rooftop access, and trained and competed against Secret Service snipers. They are the fastest and most accurate snipers I've ever seen. The fact that this happened makes zero sense." Listen to this from NBC.
We do have some new information for you. A senior Secret Service source familiar with the planning of yesterday's event tells NBC News that the roof where the shooter was located was a well-known, high-priority vulnerability. It was identified just the day before during a security walkthrough. We've also just learned that there were 2 counter-sniper teams on site and that the counter-sniper did not need approval to shoot. One source telling NBC News that prior protocols were not followed. The FBI now says the alleged shooter, 20-year-old Thomas Matthew Crooks, appears to have acted alone. This all provides new context for the shocking scene last night in Butler, Pennsylvania, already burned into our collective consciousness.
Oh, acted alone, huh? Well, let's go ahead and check in with actual military snipers. Former Green Beret Special Forces sniper chimes in on all of this. Buckle up. I'm not sure you're ready to listen to this one.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? I'm here to tell you why the shooting of President Donald Trump yesterday, without a doubt in my mind, was a planned and coordinated attack on the president inside our government, our local agency, or police force. Here's why. My name is Matthew Murphy, and I am a retired Green Beret, retired from this Special Forces group, but I'm also a level 1 sniper, which means that I have graduated the highest level of training for snipers that you can do in special operations. We're trained, I'm going to avoid confidential or classified terminology, we're trained in assassinations and counter-assassinations for the very reason, case in point, yesterday, the shooting of President Donald Trump. So, first of all, anywhere the president's going to go, There are teams from the Secret Service that go out days, if not weeks, if not months, before the president will ever be at that spot. And they do a site security assessment. And they do that with the local police forces and agencies to ensure that every potential security threat or vulnerability is secured and, of course, protected against. Now, this is done way before Donald Trump will ever get there, and they know every place that the president will be, and the sniper team especially is responsible for ensuring that no one can take a shot at the president. Now, that does not mean that the sniper team just sets up with their guns and scans the crowd and shoots. No, what they do, the most important thing they do pre-Donald Trump showing up, is within a 360-degree environment of that podium of the president, they ensure that there is not a place that is open that will be accessible by someone with a rifle to take a shot at the president. So they make sure those places are barricaded off, inaccessible, and heavily guarded, so there is no way you are going to get to the place where you can even shoot the president with a rifle before the president shows up. Then they scan the crowd and those places with the rifle, just in case by some miracle you do. Now, you're not going to tell me, I don't care who you are, don't listen to the media, nonsense anyways, I think most of us know that by now, that some 20-year-old kid that looks like he played Dungeons and Dragons in his mom's basement is trained on a gun, especially a sniper rifle like that, is a registered Republican, and then can access anywhere near the vicinity of that crowd, of that event, with him not dressed in a uniform and that sniper rifle. He was wearing American flag t-shirt and pants, and he had a rifle. You're going to tell me that that kid went through all this levels of security, somehow got into the closest building to the president, then accessed the rooftop of the closest building to the president, then had the time to unpack his rifle, lay down in the prone, and then take 5 to 8 well-aimed shots at the president before he was decisively engaged by the Secret Service's counter sniper teams or a local police department. I don't know who they were. Most likely police. You're going to tell me all that happened and a 20-year-old kid did that without it being heavily planned, coordinated, and people on the inside making it happen? There's absolutely no way possible that that kid was able to get up there and take those shots at the president without a lot of internal help. So someone in that local, or some people inside that local police department, agencies, or Secret Service is compromised and is a threat to our president. So we need to stop worrying about that damn shooter and start worrying about who allowed this to happen. And President Trump, if you need an American to protect you who's actually good at sniping and stopping this crap, give me a call. I'll do it for free.
Badass. Badass. So this is your government professionally trained sniper with 20 years of experience in counter assassinations, right? So somebody's trying to assassinate principal, and this is the guy who prevents that assassination. Many people are asking a lot of questions, many very respected people inside of the chattering classes, as I like to call them. Matt Walsh saying there's nothing strange going on here. The 20-year-old shooter who had never used social media or posted a single thing on the internet ever, and his phone cannot be accessed because his password, which our best government's hackers cannot bypass. That's all. Just super normal stuff. Just super random, normal things. Just like this Secret Service bubble here, the famous Pac-Man bubble, right? Where Donald Trump's speaking here. All of this area is protected area. And then they just carve out just this one specific little area that's not protected right here, where you'd have a downward shot, elevated shot on President Trump. Okay, Piers Morgan saying, how the hell are members of the public spotting the assassin on the roof before the Secret Service did? There are multiple videos of people saying, hey, there's a freaking assassin on the roof. How are people not? Wait a second. Like, how is there an assassin on the roof? Multiple eyewitnesses saying that they alerted law enforcement to this. And the snipers did nothing. This is why the sniper that I've spoken with says this makes 0 sense. Why would they not do anything? There's one, based on the videos of these people being incapable of even holstering their weapons, incompetence potentially may have played a part in this. But is it incompetence? Or is it actual malice? Look at this guy. You can see clear as day images of this man crawling across the rooftop, People are filming him. People are alerting the cops, and nobody does anything. Left-wing assassin is so obvious that multiple people in the crowd saw him crawling on the roof. Where the hell was the Secret Service? This is a really important question. It's not just this guy sounding off on it. This dude, who seems like a totally rad individual, is commenting on how strange it is that they didn't engage, but also members of Congress who are snipers commenting on how insane all of this is. Here's Congressman Corey Mills of Florida, who's a friend of our show, who was also a sniper in the military, saying this makes less than 0 cents. Have a listen. This is really chilling stuff.
Let's bring in Florida Congressman and former U.S. Army sniper, Corey Mills. What kind of shot was this, Corey, from 130 yards?
Look, at the end of the day, this is a shot that your basic training boot camp soldier is requested to make within their 9-week period. This is one of the easiest shots, and they train all the way out till 300 or 500. And when I was doing the counter sniper, it wasn't with the United States Army. It was actually when I was with the State Department and was doing this exact thing, which is trying to look at going out with an advanced team, establishing what the perimeter is. And then as a sniper, when you would set up, you'd put together your range sketch or your range fan cards. And that would tell you where your 100, your 200, your 300, and you'd identify the areas of threat that you would be able to mitigate. And if there's multiple targets, you understand that your elevation and windage knob wouldn't have to be messed with, especially at 160 yards. You could literally just look, quickly glance, and know from the reference point whether it be a building, whether it be a lone tree, whether it be a parking lot, maybe it's a road. Bottom line is that this is massive negligence to the point of me speculating on what was intentional and what wasn't.
Wow. When you're doing a site survey and you're seeing this rooftop not that far away, why did it look like the counter sniper team was a little surprised?
You know, I can only speculate, and we'll have to wait until the investigation comes out, that they thought local law enforcement was potentially climbing up onto the roof when they saw a dark object on a light roof. But here's the issue.
Wait. You're saying maybe they misconstrued crooks for a friendly, for local law enforcement?
It's very possible. I don't want to speculate until the investigation is over, but the bottom line is that if you saw someone climbing onto a roof that you hadn't authorized any clearance on, it's got a clear line of sight. It's exactly adjacent to the shooting where the president was sitting, and you're talking about a pop shot, and you got people yelling, and there should have been comms. The minute that local law enforcement, who apparently had a rifle pointed on, there should have been an emergency frequent comms channel that they could have said, we have a shooter on the roof, shooter on the roof. Secret Service should have rushed the stage and immediately took the president and took him off, and then responded to the counter sniper. The shot should not have gone off. That is the failure in itself. You're supposed to be able to try and, the best security is when you go in and you're actually able to prevent an incident, not react to an incident. Even if you would have left a law enforcement officer's patrol car in that parking lot with the lights on, that could have been a deterrent. But when you have nothing that is actually showing force protection, you're encouraging this. Look, I'm not sure about who the individuals are on the individual detail Secret Service, but I can tell you under this Biden administration, the one thing I've seen is massive DEI hires. And I can tell you, when you primarily go after DEI, you end up with DIE.
So when you have these counter snipers waiting until 8 rounds are fired, what accounts for that?
To be honest
after
with you,
the first shot, you get a return fire immediately?
The minute that a shot rang out, they should have already been on scope. Your spotter should have already have called the distance if you hadn't looked at your range card, and you should have immediately engaged. Okay. There should have been no reason to have waited a single second. Now, I talked to Eric Trump after the incident. Eric and I are both gun enthusiasts. We both shoot long distance. That right there is a pop shot. But he did say, I've gone out with the CS teams, and they are one of the best. He knows the service detail that's with them. They are loyal individuals who actually do care about the president. I can say that was relayed to me. But the bottom line is this is a massive security breach. This is a huge failure at negligence is at best. But we have to figure out why something within 200 yards. Think about this, Jesse, 200 yards. That means that an average rifle that holds 1 minute of angle would hold a 2-inch grouping if you just shot it straight off the deck, meaning on a platform. So now you're talking about 160, which is 1.6 inches is what its grouping capabilities are. The average head is what? 6 by 8, shoulder to shoulder is 20 inches, head to waist is 40 inches, and President Trump's a very large man. This is a shot that within 5 minutes I could teach you to make 9 out of 10 times. So this is divine intervention. This is the God having his protective hand and wearing Ephesians 6, the armor of God, over the president, because this right here, a millisecond or a millimeter and change, and this isn't an attempted assassination. This is an assassination of a president.
Yeah. The devil was in Butler, Pennsylvania, but so was God.
Well, and I can say one more thing, if I may, which is that let us also remember that King Henry II went in and said, "Can no one rid me of this turbulent priest?" And his knights went out and killed the Archbishop of Canterbury because they thought that was a direct order. What do you say when President Biden says it's time to put a target on Trump? That, in my opinion, is the insightful rhetoric. That's the stuff that they would have went after for the J6 stuff. So why don't we have our own J13 investigation?
Yeah, there needs to be a full investigation on this, absolutely. And it needs to not be crooked like some of these other former investigations were.
That's right.
Politicians. Mills, you're the best. Thank you.
Thank you.
Just like everything else, the more you learn about it, when it comes to January 6th, when it comes to the cases against Donald Trump, the more you realize that like the evidence does not lead to a conclusion. The evidence makes things stranger. And that's what we're learning right now. Listen to the snipers. We've just played you the professional opinion of 3 snipers. I think we will be hearing a lot more about this in the future as the Secret Service, the head of the Secret Service has now agreed to testify before Congress. Yeah, we need some answers. And of course, we need some changing of the guard, as they would say in the military. It's your boy Benny. Like, share, and subscribe, and pray for President Trump and his safety.